We're joined here in Fenagh by a club stalwart, Pat Butler, a man who I'm not quite sure thought he would have been playing in the county final at the start of the year. He's likely to be playing in a county final next weekend against Cildavin Clonegal Intermediate Championship final. Pat, great to be having a chat with you. Thanks for welcoming me out here to Fenagh. And I must say, the room looks great. You're after doing a good bit of workout in this place, I think, the last 2 years, aren't they?
Yeah, no, it is. Thanks for asking me, Kevin. Look, we're getting ready for our fundraiser. The walkathon is on here today, kicking off at 2 o'clock. So there was loads of bodies on board over the last few days getting the place cleaned up. And I suppose we had our 30th anniversary of the pitch opening here last June as well, which was a massive success. But just to acknowledge the committee from 30 years ago that put the facilities in place out there. But then I suppose just also acknowledge the committee at the moment and the community that we have a new gym down there now. We've just been recently told we've secured funding for match appropriate lighting for the field, and there's massive plans here set in place, and there's hopefully going to be diggers on that field out there next year putting in the new infrastructure.
You mentioned 30 years there. I'd say you're not far off that interest playing adult football, yeah. Without putting you in the you know what here now.
Right, well sure, look, we might as well throw it out. I think this is my 28th season. I think it was 1997 when at the age of 15 I played my first, my senior debut. Would have been the league back then, because I think at that time a lot of the leagues ended up being finished after the championship. And then at the following year, then at the age of 16, I played my first senior championship game, and I think it was actually against Clonegal, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, back in 1998, yeah.
Wow, and here you are all these years later, in the goal for this county final. Most likely, of course, team hasn't been picked yet, but I think you did alright the last day. You might be still in the next week.
Yeah, it was a bit close last week, alright, yeah. It went down to the last ball, 6.5 minutes into injury time, but lucky enough, actually kept it out, and I had John Murphy getting up on top of me, tried to get it in, but look, we got through it. We're in the final, and sure, everything going well. Yeah, I'll be named to start next Saturday against Kildavin.
You've played in a good few finals for Fenagh over the years, in fairness.
Yeah, I've played in a good few finals, and actually I think I was actually playing with the club at senior level 13 years, I think it was, before I actually won a final, and I think it was a Division 4 league game, or league final. I suppose of all the finals we've played in, the one that kind of still sticks out in my memory, it would be the 2004 senior final. It was the one and only senior final the club has ever been in, and we were beaten in a replay by Rathvilly, but look, it was still an honour to play in a county final, it was a great team, and there was a great buzz. I still dream of the day that we may get back there, and hopefully someday we'll get it. Maybe my own young lads will win a senior with the club, but look, it was a great occasion, and look, it's actually 20 years ago now, actually. Yeah. It's mad to say that I'm still playing, and actually, as far as I know, I'm the only current member playing that was on that panel at the time, if memory serves me correctly. I think there's a lot of the guys in the team at the moment weren't even born. That kind of puts it into context.
Yeah, a bit of perspective. I remember those finals. I remember Val Fleming hitting the crossbar as a standout moment.
Yeah.
Did Lowry Marr get the equaliser the first day? Was it Paul Marr the equaliser?
Yeah, it was Paul Marr, yeah.
Did they call him Lowry Marr again?
It was called, he probably still is called Lowry, yeah. It was Paul got the equaliser
big score at the time. Did Fleming hit the crossbar the first day or the second day? What was the first day?
God, I'm not 100%. I remember the shot well, and I just said to myself, that went in, and I think we had it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's it was inches, and could have been a different outcome.
The other side of that year was like many felt if Ballinkillen had won their final, that Fenagh might, if you win one, you'll win the two of them, and if one didn't go to plan, the pressure was on, of course, after that. It proved that way. Actually,
Ballinkillen were in the final a number of weeks after in the hurling. I think was it Nave Breed? I think maybe bet them. And look, geez, it was unfortunate. We lost both finals the same year, and I hear what you're saying. If we go over the line, could have egged the boys over the line as well. But look, sometimes it's just a game of margins, and unfortunately we came out the wrong side of it that time.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that particular Fenagh team was excellent, wasn't it? There was a fair lot of county players.
Yeah, there was great calibre in that team. I think at the time we had 4. There was Stephen, Val, Scally, John Hickey, I think, on the county team at the time. Then you throw in the 2 Walshes, you have Andrew Gall, I think Niall Scanlon was there as well, you had Jar Foley, so Dennis Burr, there was great calibre in the team, there was just, and really, it was a real bond on that team. And it was just, it was different stock, I suppose. I'm after seeing it over a few decades now, and, I'll always go back to, that team, there was a reason we're in a county final. We were good enough to be there.
We were good, yeah. Definitely. You had a couple of great battles with Loughlin Bridge, I think a couple of years maybe previous. Loughlin might have got the better as 0-3, but there was one down in Kildavin. I think Turk Kavanagh might have got a goal late on. They went to a replay and he won it. They were really standout games. I can't even remember, was it senior or what was it?
Senior,
yeah. It's always things like that stick out in your mind. Like from your perspective, the county final lock one. I'm sure you can probably still see Turk Kavanagh hitting the ball as well, can you?
Yeah. Sure, look, you had a few of them over the years, but I remember that game in Kildavin actually distinctly, and even the replay then was actually in Carlow, and it was another tricky game. I think we were lucky to get over the line in the replay, to be honest. But it just goes to show how the dynamics of clubs, and especially rural clubs, changes over the years. You speak about Loughlin Bridge, they were senior then, we were senior then. Loughlin Bridge are in the junior final now. We're in the intermediate and we've been junior, and it kind of just highlights how the dynamic changes between a club over the years in terms of what level they're playing at. It's unlike, we'll say, the likes of the stronger teams like Airog and Ravelli, who will constantly stay senior. The rural clubs are always fighting a battle, to stay at the higher grade, and but things change, players leave, you have to get blood new lads, but it's part and parcel. But I always say, once you're playing is the main thing. Winning to me is a bonus. It's great to win, don't get me wrong, I don't like losing, but being able to go out there and play, I think is number one for me, and after that then it's a bonus then if you win. Yeah,
there's always been great goalkeepers out in Fenagh. Go back through the years, and yourself and Pat Hughes would have had a pretty good battle there at one stage as well.
Well, I wouldn't have called it a battle really, to be honest, because Pat is a first cousin of mine.
He told me it was a war. Maybe that was Joey Nolan, actually, another goalkeeper. I don't know. Maybe there was a kind of an ulterior motive there that he was going to slip in.
No, I wouldn't say it was a battle, but it was a healthy rivalry. And look, to be honest, it's great to see young lads coming through. And Pat would have been young. I was young when I started, obviously, and eventually he just got into the number one spot. And look, I was always still involved in the club. I never went away. I know I was away with college and things like that, but I was always around the summers training, getting stuck in. And as I said to the lads, I'm always there. If there's an injury or lads not around, I'm always there. Just pick up the phone. And that's the way it's been over the last number of years. I'll train when I can. Obviously with 4 young lads at home, and my wife works evenings, so it's hard to get to training. But when I can get to training in the games, I'll do my best to get there.
There was a goalkeeper in Euro 2004. I think it was was it Ricardo? I can't think of the Portuguese keeper. He didn't wear gloves.
Yeah.
For a long time, you weren't a fan of wearing gloves. What way are you with gloves now?
I wear them at the moment, yeah. Now, there was a few days there this year I probably could have done without them. It was sticky weather, but generally I'd wear them now. But I've often not wore them either. Yeah, sometimes it just depends on the day. If it's a really sticky, warm day, you can be better off without them. But obviously the wet days you want them.
You brought this into times where goalies had stopped doing it though, as in you just didn't bother with them for years. You just didn't feel the need. You were comfortable enough.
I was comfortable enough. I know a lot of young guys say, I need a pair of gloves, it'll sting the hand. And I said, to be honest with you, in a game scenario, I said, you're going to be that hyped up anyway, you're not going to feel it. The adrenaline is pumping, and it's funny, it's very rarely in a game that you're going to have a shot being thrown at you as hard as it would be in a training session, because in a game scenario a lot of times there is going to be bodies in the way and guys can't get that same power, whereas in training they come 1-on-1 and they'll try to hit you from 6 yards.
Head to head,
but look, when you're in the moment, you're not going to whatever you're comfortable with, really.
And in as far as you're comfortable, you've had a fair old battle yourself. You had a bit of a scare, I think, at one stage, didn't you? So to be back here playing football in the county final, it must be unbelievable. And it's up to you how much you want to disclose of that. We have some awareness of your story.
Look, I don't mind discussing it, to be honest, and I think it's good to get it out there to kind of highlight the awareness. But kind of this time 3 years ago, I wasn't long recovering from a double bypass. I suffered a heart attack playing an over 35 soccer match, actually, and so I ended up in James's, where they discovered that I had blocked arteries, and they said the best way forward was actually to do heart surgery and to bypass it. So and with that then there was an underlying condition, and I had type 2 diabetes, which wasn't detected. So I suppose an important point that came out of that was that I'd say to anyone, especially anyone playing sports, go get checked, because I would have been relatively fit. I was still playing, still doing training, and I showed no signs. The only sign that the doctor said after, when we went through it all, was that I felt tiredness during the day, and I put that down to being just hectic with work. I was actually in college as well, doing a course part-time, and having 4 young boys, you'd be run off your feet. But they said no, it's actually one of the big signs that your heart is under pressure. So I would just say to anyone, do no harm, go to the doctor and get checked, because you go back 3 years ago, it could have been a very different outcome.
Scary stuff, like.
Oh, scary stuff, yeah. But I stayed positive. The doctor was very reassuring. She said, look, it's standard for us. Obviously, it's a big shock for you, but they done what they had to do. And I thought, yep, that's it now, hanging up the boots. And she actually turned around and said, no, you're not hanging up the boots. She said, you're going to stay playing because you need to keep that heart strong. And I was like, oh, so you have no concerns, is basically what I said to her. And she said, no, you'll get back in the field there as soon as you feel fit. And 4 months later, I was actually back playing a soccer match.
Wow. Janie, Mark, like you go from thinking, right, this is all over, and you can still. Yeah. I mean, the perspective that puts things into must be unbelievable. I mean, you think that maybe all these things are taken away from you. Next thing, no, it's still there. It obviously gives you probably a greater appreciation when things like this come up with county finals, and especially not to be going back to the age thing again, but if you put it all into the mix, the age, what you've gone through from a health point of view, this is remarkable stuff, Pat. Fairness, like.
Yeah, look. Absolutely, and I was 39 at the time that happened. I'm 43 next month. When you think back what could have been and where I am now, you have to be appreciative of the fact that you're still here and you're running around. And to be honest with you, once I got back on that field after the surgery and I was running, I actually noticed the difference straight away. Whereas before, I used to feel a bit under pressure maybe running. I said, God, now I know that it's fixed, so it's like I've been reconditioned and a new man. I'll just stay tipping away, stay playing as much as I can. Do things that you used to worry about kind of mean a little bit less now as well when something like that happens, or were you always kind of in that mindset where you knew what was important and what wasn't anyway? Because sometimes life can take us down a path where things become stressful and all these things get in on you, but sometimes we have to learn a very harsh lesson that what happened to you, I suppose, makes you realise, it's not really that important, is it? Yeah, no, absolutely. And I suppose, I could have been that make sure all the bills is paid and food is on the table and the guys looked after and all this, and obviously they're priorities. But I definitely would have an outlook on life now. Especially with work, if there's a problem or there's an issue or have to go to a site and sort out something or whatever, it'll be sorted. No point worrying about it. It's not a life and death situation. So I would, kind of have a more
easier way of life now, looking at, just enjoy it while you're here, no point panicking about things that there's no need to panic about, we're all suspect of doing that, so just take it easy.
When you take to the field next weekend, you might be different, Pat Butler, mentally to what you were maybe 04, possibly.
No, I'll be out there with the same ambition next Saturday evening I was in 04, and the number one will be that we go out and do our best to win. If we win, brilliant. If we don't, we'll give it all, but we won't know today. But no, I will be going out in the field with the ambition of winning that county final.
Super stuff. Well, the very best of luck, and thanks for chatting.
Thanks very much, Kevin.